This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holidays are over, the decorations are down, and suddenly everything feels a little empty. It's normal to feel the winter blues after the holiday excitement. January, February, and March are by far my least favorite months of the year. It's cold and dark, and I have to get some extra vitamin D on board. I also need to keep my regular scheduled appointments with my therapist. So if you're feeling that post-holiday funk, I definitely suggest you checking out BetterHelp because maybe it's time to talk. You might also be one of those people like me who makes New Year's resolutions and you get super motivated. So maybe you need someone behind you to hold you accountable and come up with a plan to meet your goals. BetterHelp is super convenient, totally online. You have a therapist right at your fingertips whenever you need them. So head over to betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 for 10% off your first month.
Be honest. When's the last time you had a homemade meal? We get it. Between meetings, workout classes, and the kids' after-school sports, who's got time to cook? That's where HelloFresh comes in. No matter how busy you get, HelloFresh has everything you need to get an easy, home-cooked meal on the table. With flavor-packed recipes like Parmesan herb-crusted salmon, you'll be filling your kitchen with the cozy aromas of a homemade meal in no time. So go ahead, try HelloFresh. It's homemade, made easy. Learn more at HelloFresh.com.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So, Russ, what if I told you there is a cult that exists to this day that started as a weight loss program, and the leader is one of the most greedy and conniving women I've ever seen? I already know just by the way this woman looks that you are going to have a field day with this one. This is the case of Gwen Shamblin and the Remnant Fellowship. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wife of Crime, a true crime podcast where I tell my husband, Russ, true crime stories and he reacts to them.
What's up, folks? It's Russ again, a.k.a. back with another whiskey, a.k.a. I got a little LaCroix this time, a.k.a. fuck Zac Efron.
What?
So, as people may know that listen to past episodes, I was listening to a past episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny, just a random one we listened to, because I haven't listened to one in a while, because I cringe at myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Jess has a crush on Zac Efron episode.
You literally made that up. I do not have a crush on him. I said he's hot and he's a good actor.
Hot and a good actor. So Jess is the first person to ever say Zac Efron is a good actor. So we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
It's called... Is Zac Efron better than?
Okay.
And every time someone's better than Zac Efron, you have to take this shot of Honey Jack.
Ew, Honey Jack?
Yeah, thanks Sylvester. He's our buddy over at in the Bronx.
Honey Jack is literally the worst.
I was going to give you this Woodford that I'm drinking, but there's only a smidge left, and that's enough to wet my whistle.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Woodford, but doing shots of it,
you're
going to get me drunk before the episode even starts.
So, here we go.
Okay.
So, Zac Efron or Nicolas Cage? Who's a better actor?
Oh.
If you don't pick Zac Efron, you got to take a shot.
Really? No, so I have to...
You got to tell the truth, though.
Well, I was going to say Nicolas Cage, but I don't want to take a shot.
This is the honesty game. Here you go.
Oh, God. Ugh. And Honey Jack is just so sweet and bleh.
Nicolas Cage isn't even known to be a really good actor.
I know, but I do like some of his movies, like National Treasure and this new movie coming out with him in it about him being in everyone's dreams. That's really good. Oh, God.
All right. So, Zac Efron or Kevin Hart. Who's a better actor?
Zac Efron.
All right. That one was up in the air, though, because Kevin Hart might be.
Kevin Hart is funny.
All right. Zac Efron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making these up as I go, folks. I didn't have any names written down. It's all in my head. Zac Efron or Keanu Reeves. You're casting a movie.
All right, but I like Keanu Reeves' movies. Like, I love Speed, but I do think...
Wait,
Keanu Reeves is a terrible actor, but he's a great person.
But have you ever said Zac Efron was in a good movie? Sometimes the actor makes the movie.
True.
Like, has Zac Efron ever made a movie good? Speed.
Probably
The
not.
Matrix.
The Matrix.
John Wick.
True.
Zac Efron, what has he been in? Probably some Trading
High
Places.
School Musical. Okay, Keanu Reeves, even though I think he's a wonderful human being, not a great actor, but his movies are good.
Here you go, another shot.
All right. Ugh. Okay. Oh. Ugh. Is that my last one?
Yeah,
Please tell me that.
You know what? I have to stop because everyone is a better actor than Zac Efron. Who are we comparing him to? Like Zac Efron or me? Like, I'd probably still win.
Well, that was an interesting surprise. Didn't expect to be doing shots 5 minutes into this episode. Well, everyone, my name is Jess, by the way, because I didn't get a chance to introduce myself.
AKA Zac Efron's, we thought, biggest fan.
Yeah, definitely not. He is good looking, but...
When? Like, pre-Jaw?
Yeah, he got into an accident.
After Jaw. So did I.
Yeah, you got into an accident too. You should be sympathetic.
And look at my face. He should have fucked up his legs.
Oh, stop. Well, this month on the Patreon, we are covering Mommy Dead and Dearest, and we're going to be watching that soon. It's really close to the holiday. We have Thanksgiving coming up, so we got a lot going on for Thanksgiving, but we're going to be covering Mommy Dead and Dearest, and I'm very interested to hear Russ's point of view on this one. I do think that pretty much the entire time, Russ is just going to make fun of the mom, but we'll see how it goes once he watches it.
Why, is she funny looking?
You're just going to make fun of her. She's a terrible human being, horrible person, and you're going to make fun of her hair, and you're going to make fun of the way she looks. I just know it. So, speaking of Patreon, you're going to do the patron shout-outs.
So this week's Patreons are Lauren, Lucy, April, Ariana, Kirsty, Kristen, Nicole, Brona, Carla, Ashley, Gail, Catherine, Sophie, Jasmine, Lisa, T, Julia, KRM, 1274, and Hannah. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. You know we over there chilling. Got some extra bonus content. So cheers to you guys.
Cheers to you guys. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. And yeah, we got a lot of bonus content over there. We do a True Crime and Chill every month. And like I said, we're going to be covering Mommy Dead and Dearest. It's an old one. It came out in 2017. But the reason we're doing it this month is because in December, Gypsy Rose is up for parole. Russ doesn't know what I'm talking about, but once you watch the documentary, you'll know who Gypsy Rose is. And the fact that she's up for parole is a big deal.
All right, folks. So every week, you know, I do review of the week. And this week's review of the week from Apple, you go throw them over there and I might read them, is from Happiest Erica. It says, best podcast ever, 5 stars. This is the longest one I've probably ever read, but it's pretty good. Bear with me, folks.
That's funny.
Not to be too dramatic with that title, but this podcast really is the very best. Anyone that listens can corroborate that. Perfect mix of true crime with some banter and comedic relief thrown in. So you might end up laughing out loud during the most horrific stories ever. Which sounds strange or morbid, but trust me, it's really the only way I take my true crime these days. Jess and Russ have such a gift and truly are hilarious without disrespecting any of the victims in the process. I love how open and real their conversation is. This is the first podcast I've ever paid to subscribe to, and it's worth every penny.
Aww.
Hashtag vote for Russ. Hashtag he's for us. Hashtag Lil Weezy's cool too.
Aw, thanks. Did she actually type out corroborate?
Let me see.
Or did you say that?
It's
Joke.
hyphenated in between.
Then that's what she meant. She was making fun of me, which is funny.
Yeah.
I thought you might have done that.
No.
Oh, so she's more clever than you.
Well, I read it the way she intended, even though I wasn't sure what I was doing. But if you look on Apple Podcasts, it's actually co-dash, and then the operate is on the line underneath. So it challenged my reading.
Well, it was funny. I laughed out loud, so it was good.
So I have a little trivia question for you.
Okay.
I'm full of them this week.
You
folks.
are. You have a lot to talk about this week.
So I was listening to something on the internet.
Okay.
It's where we get all our news from, all our information.
Yeah.
Don't know if this is absolutely true, but what countries do you think have had the most serial killers, the top 3?
Top 3. Interesting. I would say America.
Okay, you got one.
The UK. United Kingdom.
Nope.
Oh.
I'm going to give you like 1 or 2 more guesses, then I'll let you know.
Australia.
No, one more guess.
Africa.
Africa's not a country.
Oh, yeah, that's
fool.
it's a continent.
It has like 100 countries in there.
That was such a Russ thing to say.
Yeah, I'm the geographical expert today.
You're a geographicologist.
Yeah.
Okay, what are they?
All right. At number 3 is South Africa with with 117.
Well, I was close.
Next is England with 166.
Bruh, England is the UK, bruh.
But wait, England...
United Kingdom is England.
Well, so we're both
We're
dumb.
both dummies over here.
And number 1 is the United States.
Wow.
With 3,204.
Wow, that's a lot.
Which, now this is all time recorded, so this is within like recorded history where they write shit down.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't always have pens, I guess. But that is 68% of the world's serial killers. But the United States only has 4% of the world's population.
Wow, we're really messed up over here.
Or we're really good at keeping records.
No, I think we're just messed up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love statistics. I love hearing statistics like that. That's nuts.
Well, you're lucky. I'm a statistical genius.
You are.
This week, I was a statisticalologist.
This week, you brought a lot to the table. You really prepped. You were ready to go for this episode.
Well, it is my full-time job now.
It is. So
I'm retired except for this. And I'm also a pimpologist. I go outside and I stay fresh. And what I've noticed from living in Baltimore, I'm the best dressed person in Baltimore, hands down.
Hands down, you're the best.
Hey, there ain't no one fresh. Like in New York, I got competition. You walk outside, someone might have the same thing on as you.
In
with
New
the
York,
shirt,
yeah.
the shoes, everything's like, are you fucking kidding me? But in Baltimore, everyone's wearing Under Armour.
You're their
Their Under Armour's old with balls on it. Pause.
Wait, what does that mean? Old with balls on it?
Like, you know how you wash clothes too much and it got balls on it?
Yeah. So you're the best dressed in Baltimore by far.
Hands down.
In your head.
Hands down. I go outside.
Fresh to death.
Hands down.
Okay. I'll let you have that.
But you, when you're thinking about it, you're like, could be.
I'm honestly not debating it.
There's a chance.
There's definitely a chance. I'm not debating it because you care a lot about your clothing, your style. That's something that's important to you. Something I'm very attracted to about you. So I'm not debating it. You may be one of the best dressed men in Baltimore.
Yeah, I think what it is in New York, when we go outside, we know we're going to see a lot of people, so we get to flex.
Yeah.
But also, sometimes, if you wear a fresh outfit and not too many people seeing you, I might have to recycle that shit the same day. I mean, the next day, someone got to see this bitch. This was too good to put away for a while.
That's funny.
Except in PT, I wear the same damn shit all the time.
Well, yeah, you have to. You're working out. So, Russell, cults.
Don't call me Russell.
I put a poll on the Patreon, and I said one of the options was a cult case. And, I also gave 3 other options. One of them was a true crime that inspired a book, and we covered that last week with our Truman Capote story. But in second place on the poll, it was cults.
Idiots.
We all know how you feel about cults. We all know how you feel about people who become members of cults. Hence the reason I don't tell a lot of cult stories, because you have the same blanket opinion about them.
It's like playing a grown-up game of Simon Says. We could just name this episode Simon Says.
Okay. That's a good analogy, actually. I'm not going to lie. So what are the signs that you may be in a cult? Here they are. Leaders are authoritarian. It's my way or the highway.
Simon Says.
They are manipulative and deceptive. They take the texts they are using in their practice, for example, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, etc., and they manipulate it to suit their narrative.
Oh my goodness. Are we speaking about my childhood?
Indoctrination is the main goal. They want their followers to rid themselves of anything impure, which is whatever they define as impure, making it seem that they are in some way not worthy of this cult's version of God's love or worthy of reaching the goals that the cult has made unless they do X, Y, and Z. Cult members are usually isolated from the outside influence. The leader sets it up so that the followers must only surround themselves with others in the cult by using fear tactics or ultimatums. They want all members to submit to authority and do this by using shame and guilt. They set up a system where the followers see the leaders of the cult as the only way to God.
Kind of like...
or deities they are worshiping, which gives the leaders ultimate power.
So it's kind of like saying, do what I say or you're going to hell.
Well, that's what the leader of the cult says. Yeah. Do what I say or you're damned. And it doesn't have to be going to hell. It can be any form of being damned for eternity or, whatever.
So I once heard, and I'm just repeating these words, sometimes, like, if you try to figure out what's the difference between a cult and a religion, and I probably said this before.
Yes, you did. In the last 2 cult episodes we did.
So it'll probably happen every single cult episode, but don't lift your eyebrows up at me because your Botox is wearing off.
Leave me alone. I've been stressed. I need to go get Botox. Don't talk about it.
No, that's all right because you still look hot.
Thanks.
But so, it seems true to me, but not in all instances, that the difference between a cult and a religion is a religion, the leader is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And in a cult, the leader is alive. And that's like in the majority of the cases.
Yeah, that makes sense because
these
leaders claim that their way of thinking, their way of conducting life is the only way to reach whatever goal the cult has set. The leaders of the group claim that they have wisdom that is unachievable by everyone, but is only available to a select group. Sometimes the group doesn't view themselves as a cult at all, and in fact claims that they're actually helping society, not isolating from it.
Wait.
They often project and point fingers, claiming that everyone else is in a cult or everyone else is wrong, but they are the true version of whichever faith that they subscribe to.
Any modern religion right now is, by any established religion, is a cult. No, but to the old religions. Or like there's no new religion that is considered a religion. Like anyone that tries to form a religion now is considered a cult. But
you're saying if someone comes along, right, and they're not part of the monotheistic group, which is Jewish people, Muslim people, and Christians, if they're not
I've been interested in Buddhism lately, though, because life is suffering, and your boy's been going through a lot of suffering. So I've been like, wait a minute.
Explore that, whatever you got to do. But you're saying, so any new religion that would pop up nowadays, all the other religions that have been around for a long time could possibly look at them and consider them a cult.
No, they do. And anyone alive considers them a cult except the people that are in it.
Okay.
So...
like there's a documentary on Netflix, on HBO right now about this woman who claimed that she was like 1900 years old and her name was Mother God. And she had all these people move out to the desert and live with her. And then she died and then they mummified her body. That's a HBO documentary. And it was clearly a cult. But you're saying,
how do you know?
Maybe she's telling the truth.
What if she was telling the truth? The same way. All these older people, listen, guys, just with an open mind. Jesus, Muhammad, all these people have passed away.
Yeah.
I don't know who else there was. Gandhi, Mother Teresa. I'm not a religionologist, okay. But all the legendary people that, like,
the religion is surrounded,
the religion is surrounded by, are gone. Mm-hmm. But 1,000 years from now, will these people be considered them? Like, will they fall into that category? You never know.
Yeah.
With the internet, it spreads. One TikTok makes this person the new God. You never know.
You never know.
I'm open-minded and I love conspiracy theories. I need a conspiracy theory podcast now that I've been thinking about that lately.
There is one. Your brother told me about it. It's really good. It's called Conspiracy Theories.
No, someone needs to tell me them.
Oh, well, you can listen to this podcast about them.
Yeah, but who's going to drink with me and talk back?
So you want me to tell you conspiracy theories? Is this a new podcast idea that you're trying to have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll discuss that later. So today, I'm telling you about a pseudo-Christian cult. So they're a pseudo-Christian cult in Brentwood, Tennessee. I say pseudo-Christian because this cult claimed to have Christian beliefs, although when you dig deeper, you realize that their beliefs are definitely not in line with mainstream Christianity at all. This cult started as a weight loss program.
Wait, did Richard Simmons start it?
No. Someone even more ridiculous than him. So this cult started as a weight loss program and grew to a large following that still exists today. Their leader, a woman named Gwen Shamblin, in the beginning of her career, she seemed like she just wanted to help others reach their weight loss goals. But as time went on, her greed and her hunger for power. You like that?
That was good.
Her hunger for power grew.
Swiss rolls on deck.
She used her tax-exempt status to do a lot of shady business.
I was thinking about starting a religion just so we could all get tax-exempt status.
Okay, well, she used her tax-exempt status to do a lot of shady business dealings behind the scenes, all while claiming she was a prophet sent by God to lead this group that she claimed was the only real Christian church. Her nefarious teachings led to hundreds of eating disorders and even the murder of an 8-year-old little boy. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Gwen Shamblin was a registered dietitian turned diet guru turned pastor turned prophet, all in the span of 30 years.
It's a lot of turning.
As her ego grew, so did her hair.
I got to see this woman. Hold
I'm
on.
not exaggerating. I honestly think this lady had zero actual friends because no one should have let her leave her house like that.
What's her name again?
I'm going to show you her picture, and I want to know your first reaction.
That's the honeybee. Honey. What is that?
It's a giant teased
How do you get that high?
On top of her hair. On top of her head.
Now, anyone that would follow her just based on looks alone, You're getting what you deserve. That's natural selection. She's basically doing a comb over, but for women.
Yeah.
But it's like teased up to hide the forehead.
It's definitely like, I would say 5 inches off of her head. Maybe more. 5 to 6 inches.
It's like an 80s hairdo, but she straightened it out, but kept the top part.
Well, let me show you a picture of her before the hair, when she just started out as this diet lady back in the 80s and 90s.
Can I see her prison picture?
There is not one. This is what she looked like when she first started her career, before her greed took control and she became a nutcase. Totally normal. She has she definitely looks like she's in the 80s, but totally normal.
Where did she get the volume?
The volume in the hair as it got bigger and bigger? I don't know. I think it was all her lies and secrets.
Maybe she put like a sponge on top of her head and then did the hair around it.
Possibly.
What's her name again?
Gwen Shamblin.
So everyone, before you go on or while you're listening, go look her up. Gwen Shamblin.
Yeah, it's insane.
I don't know how to spell it, but your phone will autocorrect it.
Yes. I will warn you, throughout this episode, I will not cut this lady any slack because I actually hate her face. Like, I literally hate her. I do not for one nanosecond believe she gave 2 shits about anyone but herself. And I firmly believe the entire time she led this cult, she was fully aware of what she was doing and the collateral damage that she was causing, despite how innocent and godly she claimed to be. I have no sympathy for her followers either, and will not cut them any slack either. So that's my little PSA before we get going. Gwen started a weight loss program in the 80s that was essentially like intuitive eating, right? Eat only when you're hungry, not when you're bored, blah, blah, blah. We know the deal. It's common sense, not a new concept at all. She was quite educated, having a master's degree from the University of Memphis and teaching at the university as a professor for 5 years. This all sounds nice and innocent enough, but her first 2 books didn't do great sales-wise. They didn't really get any traction. So she decided to rebrand herself and her weight loss program and turn it into a faith-based one.
Genius.
See, Gwen grew up in the Church of Christ in the Bible Belt in Tennessee in the 1950s and 60s.
That's a specific religion?
Yes, the Church of Christ is a specific denomination of Christianity. It's very strict. Her father was a doctor, and he kept really strict household. The Church of Christ is an ultra-conservative form of Christianity. Women are not allowed to be leaders in the church, only men. There is no music allowed during the service, like super strict.
Oh, wait, so when I was a kid, so if there's no music, that would cut down the sermon.
Worship.
Oh, my goodness, that would be amazing. Because I used to go to church, and there'd be 1 hour of singing of the same damn songs every week, and then 1 hour of preaching. So that's it. You just go there, get the sermon, you dip?
I don't know. I don't know what they did. I don't know how their services are structured, but the Church of Christ is just known to be really strict.
I remember when I was younger, the religion was so ridiculous that French braids were for grown-ups.
French braids?
Yeah, like, they're like, oh, that's for adult women. Like, maybe...
Wait, a French braid?
Listen.
I'm confused on what that even has to do with anything.
Me too. Me too. So, when you go into these house churches, some motherfuckers is just weird. And I could have been in one of them house churches that could have made it big. It was one of these people that was trying to be Joel Osteen, and I was stuck in the house with them, and I would roast them even as a little kid.
I don't understand the French braid thing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
With this being Gwen's background, it wasn't surprising that she would turn her weight loss program into a faith-based one because this is what she knew. She was comfortable with it, and she also knew how to speak the Christian lingo. She knew what words, what statements to use to grab onto a specific population of people. And boy, did she grab a hold of them. In 1986, her book, The Way Down Workshop, gained a huge amount of traction. By 1995, her workshop was being used in 1,000 churches in North America and the UK. And by 1997, it was in 5,000 churches.
Holy moly.
As I said before, the overall concept was intuitive eating. Not a new concept at all. But when she rebranded, she served up her program with a side of guilt and shame. See what I did there? And that's when she started seeing results. In 1997, she wrote a book about her weight loss system called The Way Down Diet, and it sold over 1 million copies. She totally blew up. She made appearances on multiple outlets, talk shows like 2020, Larry King Live, The View, The Today Show, etc.
Damn.
She was charismatic and a good speaker, excited about her product and this weight loss program, and it was getting great results. Shame works wonders. It really does.
I wonder, as she got popular, when did she change hairstylist to go from like smooth hair, like just flat, so what I've learned from having sisters and wives, well, I only have a sister and a wife. Because Jess won't let me have other wives.
No, we're not. We don't do that.
So one time I was hanging out with my sister and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh man, you like both of them. Oh, your hair looks nice and flat and shiny and pretty.
No, you didn't say that. You just said your hair looks nice and flat.
But it was shiny.
But you didn't say shiny and pretty.
So your hair looks nice and flat. So I thought,
period.
I thought they like it to look like flat and shiny.
Because me and Kyra were both like, that's totally not a compliment.
They took it as an insult. I didn't know.
Your hair looks nice and flat.
I didn't know women want big hair. So now I do know. Whenever you want to annoy someone, gentlemen, just tell your wife or your sister or your mom, oh, your hair looks nice and flat. It works every time.
Women don't necessarily want big hair. We just like volume, and we never want our hair to look flat.
But you got good flat, shiny hair.
Anyway, so her hair journey was gradual, just like this journey. As she grew into this charismatic leader, cult prophet, her hair grew with her.
It looked like the John and Kate +8, but on steroids.
It did. In 2000, though, is when things really started to pivot and began turning this weight loss program from somewhat of a cult following into a full-blown cult. Gwen said she was praying one day and heard the audible voice of God that told her every church in existence has been wrong this whole time about the Bible, and that she must build the true church. So this part is when things really took a turn and it got really out of hand. She then publicly denied the Trinity, saying that it's not true, and that all this time, every other Christian denomination, every other Christian in the world was wrong.
I'm surprised at that point she didn't lose every Christian follower. That's crazy.
She lost a lot. She also took multiple other scriptures out of context, changing their meaning, and told everyone that she is building a church in Brentwood, Tennessee, and that this is the only real church and the only way to get to heaven. She then bought 40 acres and built a huge church on the property worth millions of dollars.
Where'd she get the money?
From all her books. I mean, at this point, she was famous. She was on all these news outlets. All these people bought her program. Like, she was rich already.
Wow.
So she bought this property. She built this church worth millions of dollars and started preaching. This church is called the Remnant Fellowship. At this point, many people denounced her. All the churches where her books were dropped her. Christian bookstores were like, nah, bro. And they threw her books out. But people who followed her program got great weight loss results and fed into this bullshit.
So I'm be skinny in heaven.
A lot of them stayed devoted. And many people in her congregation even relocated to Brentwood from all over the country to be part of this true church.
So basically, they said, fat people going to hell, Skinny people going to heaven.
This isn't a joke. She literally said, like, God hates fat people. And she preached it from the pulpit. Gwen's teachings were incredibly controversial. She also suggested that if it didn't come from her, it's not true. She claimed that it's her way or the highway. She changed the fundamentals of Christianity and then doubled down on it, which made her followers believe her even more. She was very adamant about her congregation being made up of thin people, claiming that God doesn't love fat people. They are sinners, and they have a love of food that comes before their love for God.
Isn't gluttony in the Bible a bad thing?
So she would use that as a justification. She would have these strict portion sizes, but it wasn't just portion control. It was extreme restriction, like extreme restriction of food.
So it's like eating at IKEA. You only get like a couple Swedish meatballs and a little bit of mashed potato.
10 times worse than that. There's an episode of the Tyra Banks show where she appeared on it, and she talks about chips and dip, for instance. And she tells Tyra that she'll take one chip and she'll dip it, and she'll take 7 tiny bites of that chip, and in her mind, she's eating 7 chips and dip. And that's how much she would restrict herself. She would tell her congregation to pray away their hunger pains. And if you do, God will bless you with weight loss. So if you give in to the sin, God is angry with you, and you won't lose any weight. So you have to pray instead of eat, and then you'll be in God's favor. This created a congregation full of people with disordered eating. She told church members if they didn't lose 2 pounds per week, they needed to fast in order to lose that weight. So if you don't lose 2 pounds per week, then you need to not eat.
You can't even get a Holy Communion in there. One cracker, it's a wrap.
She required all the members to be in the Way Down program. They had to pay for the membership and the books that went along with it, and that's $19.99 a month. On top of tithing, whatever amount Gwen said God told her needed to be tithed. So on top of her telling you, the congregation, that you need to tithe whatever God tells her that you need to tithe, you also had to pay for your Way Down program membership, which is $19.99 a month.
This is genius. I can't believe people follow this. I can't believe that I'm still a working ass sucker. When I could just...
You would not. You don't have... Listen, you can talk all the shit you want.
Bullshit.
But you would not scam people like this.
Not scam.
This is a scam.
No, I tell them what they want to hear. They go to work.
This is not what people want to hear. This is a scam.
No. People are telling them, don't be fat.
She's manipulating people. She's taking vulnerable people and shaming them and manipulating them.
Well, I understand in a way, but you know what's worse? You know what's like worse than going to work? Or like what I'd rather do than go to work? I'd rather scam people than go to work.
No, you would not.
Do you know how miserable work is? First of all, there's people listening like, fuck that. If I could just tell these people don't be fat and give me 10% of their money. Like, all right, I'm in. I'm not the only one who thinks this way. You think everyone thinks like you? There's at least like 50% of the people who are like, oh, this idiot, so I don't have to go to work and I could build a mansion on 40 acres?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you think I'm alone on this?
I don't think you're alone, but I think you're lying. I don't think that you would actually go through with something.
No, I wouldn't forcefully do this, but if people are still, like, if they're not homeless and dying, but if they want to give me some money, I'm in.
She also didn't believe in medication and taught her followers that medication is for the weak, that instead you should be praying for God to heal you. She also claimed that when members got sick, it was because God is punishing them for being disobedient in one aspect or another. She would then manipulate the system and have the followers do something for the church, be it money or works, to atone for their sin. In this world, the definition of true salvation was getting to a weight loss goal and doing enough things for Gwen and her church. When preparing for this episode, I watched the HBO documentary, The Way Down, which is on HBO right now. It's really good. It's like a 4-part, 5-part series. But I also listened to 2 podcast episodes with ex-members talking about their experience. Edward Wilson was on the podcast Cultish. Cultish is a podcast that just completely covers cults. It's hosted by two guys. It's really good. They do a 2-episode long interview with him, and it's very thorough. Edward started going to Remnant with his parents when he was only 10 years old.
Is Remnant the skinny religion?
Yes. And he stayed in the church for a few years until his dad realized they're in a cult.
His dad got hungry, and he was like, we're out this motherfucker. I'm getting me a number 1 supersized.
You guys already know because we have been talking about them for a while now. Via Hemp is by far one of our favorite sponsors we've ever had, okay? We use their products all the time. Maybe you're a little like me. You're a little anxious. You have a hard time settling down. You're kind of wound up a lot. If that's you, Via Hemp products are for you. Check out their website. You will find something that speaks to you. Maybe you're like Russ. You have a hard time sleeping because you have bad nerve pain or chronic pain. Then Via Hemp is for you because their gummies will help you get some quality sleep. Maybe you're looking to have a really good time. Maybe you just really like edibles. You want to laugh. You want to get the munchies. You want to watch a movie and have a really strong belly laugh. Then Via Hemp products are for you, okay? They're literally for everybody. So head over to viahemp.com, promo code wifeofcrime1 to get 15% off your first order. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Wife of Crime #1 for 15% off your first order. Last year, Save More Money was the most popular New Year's resolution in America. Clearly, a lot of us feel like our money is slipping through our fingers. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not the best saver, and I don't know much about investing until I started saving and investing with Acorns. Turns out you don't have to be an expert at all because Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. And I always thought that when people say, ooh, I invest in stocks, that they had a ton of money or something. Well, you don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can literally start with $5. And you know you guys are spending that at Starbucks on these fancy lattes. So skip the coffee and invest with Acorns. You don't even need a ton of time. Like you can just sign up and start investing within 5 minutes. Head over to acorns.com/wifeofcrime or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. That's acorns.com/wifeofcrime. The people I feel bad for in any cult are the children.
Preach.
They didn't choose to be there. This is their parents' choice, and they unfortunately are the collateral damage in every culty situation. The Remnant Fellowship members were expected to adhere to the spare the rod, spoil the child philosophy. She promoted spankings using tools like hot glue gun sticks, spoons, brushes, rulers, etc. as a form of discipline. Now, just like anything else, there is something called moderation. Many people have gotten whoopings from their parents, especially in our age group and older. I have been spanked with a brush before, not all the time, but one time I lied to my mom. I claimed my neighbor tried to kidnap me when I was 4 years old, but he didn't. The poor guy was just asking me to move so that he could park his car. So in that situation, my mom pulled out a brush and spanked me on the butt with it.
Yeah,
and I deserved that shit.
You could have made that poor guy go to jail as a pedophile.
I 100% deserved it. But Gwen claimed you need to whoop that child until they submit. She encouraged her followers to beat their kids hard, 10, 20, 30 times, until the child gives in, no matter what the age.
Someone needs to yank her motherfucking hair off.
In 2003, a poor little boy named Joseph Smith was beat to death by his parents.
What?
He was only 8 years old, and they were staunch followers of Gwen Shamblin.
Let's kill Gwen.
The FBI started investigating Gwen and the Remnant Fellowship after obtaining recordings of phone calls between Susan Smith, who is Joseph's mother, and Gwen.
I'm raging.
In this phone call, Susan tells Gwen that they have locked the boy in a closet with nothing but his Bible for a full day and have hit him with a glue stick and a belt more than 50 times. Gwen's response was encouraging the behavior. She said, if he keeps acting up, don't give up until he submits. On December 8th, Joseph died after his parents beat him to death.
With what?
Probably multiple things. At the time, they were using the hot glue gun sticks as like a switch. The medical examiner report showed bruisings on the boy's body, literally from head to toe, as well as blunt force trauma to the head.
With a glue stick?
No, probably with his dad's fist or something.
Oh, I'm getting very upset.
Gwen paid for the Smiths' defense team and even started a website called The Smiths Are Innocent, which is still being ran by someone to this day.
Ooh, I want to meet that sucker.
I, of course, went on the website because I wanted to read what they claim was actually going on that day.
No, listen, there's no reason for a child to die if they were being touched by their parents or anyone else. If they're like, if someone dies because they're not being touched, you know what I mean? That's a whole, that's sickness. Who's running that website?
Well, the defense attorneys claim that Joseph didn't die from his injuries, but instead from septic shock after getting a staph infection when one of his eczema scabs opened up. Now, septic shock is possible, especially from a staph infection, right? This is something I know a lot about. However, before you go into shock, you become septic first. You have fevers. You look like complete and utter garbage. Like you are sick. You just look very, very ill. So when sepsis isn't treated, then you go into septic shock and your organs start to fail. So this website is claiming that the boy went into septic shock that night during their church service and he collapsed and died while they were having church in their home. And that the Smiths had no idea that he was sick up until this point.
Hashtag
right?
Fuck the Smiths.
Which is complete bullshit. Also, the RN and social worker in the ER, as well as the fireman who showed up on the scene, all suspected child abuse because of the amount of bruising on the little boy. They called CPS right away. So, we're mandatory reporters, and yes, there have been instances in the past of mistakes being made before. However, a child comes in already with a tube in their throat because they were doing CPR at the scene when they got to the house and they intubated him, like you were intubated. He already comes in intubated, covered in bruises from head to toe, in septic shock. That's abuse and neglect.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. So fuck these idiots. They definitely killed their son. The jury agreed with us because they're both convicted of felony murder, involuntary manslaughter, cruelty to children, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and reckless conduct based on the couple's treatment of their son.
How long they locked up?
Which led to the child's death.
How did they get booked for life?
Oh yeah, they're in jail for life. They keep trying to appeal though because they're claiming that they're innocent. Although questioned and investigated, no charges were brought upon Gwen Shamblin or any of the leaders of the Remnant Fellowship regarding their involvement in the crime because they didn't have enough to say, she is responsible. It's the parents' choice.
It is.
These are adults.
Though. It is. See, I'm not I'm from the sticks and stones era. So if you say your words don't mean nothing. The actions are what really mean something to me. So if someone tells me to whoop my child, hit him in the head, that doesn't mean anything because why would I do that?
Exactly. So she didn't get charged with anything. Over the next 15 years, her wealth skyrocketed. She made many real estate investments using her tax-exempt status and having properties transferred into a trust. She bought a 25-acre pre-Civil War plantation where she lived. She also used her tax-exempt status to form multiple businesses under the Remnant Fellowship umbrella. Under this umbrella, there is a financial planning company, a real estate company, a homeschooling co-op program, a car repair company, an event planning company, and a contracting company. All these companies must be staffed by the church members. These church members are not paid well, but also the church was not allowed to use services from any other outside companies. So she told them that they had to be obedient to her and use her businesses. So if you were going to like redo your house, you can't use another contractor. You have to use hers.
Genius.
If you're going to homeschool your kids, they can't be in a different curriculum. You have to use hers.
Minus like beating your kids, she was on to something.
No, she was a scumbag piece of shit.
No, but these dumbass people like, oh, I'll pay you for every service. Pay me.
Yeah, but she was a terrible human
kid
being.
whooping or like anyone hurting anyone physically, but if people want to give you their money willingly, sure, I'm in.
So just the fact that she taught that type of behavior towards your children and all the children that were in her church, I can play an audio clip of her literally telling these little kids, you need to obey everything that we say as adults and what your parents say, or you will burn in hell for eternity. That's literally her words to like 3 and 4-year-olds.
That's kind of what I was told as a child. Like,
no, you were probably told that you need to be saved to go to heaven, but you weren't told obey everything I say or you burn in hell.
Yes, but the people that were telling us about the Bible were telling us this pretty much. It was similar, except at 8, I was smart.
Okay,
I was like, huh?
She's a terrible human being, and I hate her. In 2018, she completely changed her mind about divorce. After years of preaching that divorce is bad, she said God told her, actually, it's fine. Hey, no big deal. She posted a message on the church website of why it's now fine. And then, a few days later, she filed for divorce from her husband of 40 years, David Shamblin.
But she had someone in the stash.
Definitely did.
Knew it.
In their divorce...
These hoes ain't loyal.
In their divorce, they split 18 properties, totaling $20 million in real estate. And she paid him $3 million cash. Within a few weeks, she was engaged to a guy named Joe Lara. Joe was an actor who actually played Tarzan on the Tarzan TV show in the 90s. He was also a professional sugar baby. He only dated much older women. He would move in with them and benefit from all their wealth.
Let's go.
At the time of meeting Gwen, Joe was living in a trailer in Nashville trying to become a famous country music singer. He was also doing construction, working as a day laborer on the side for a guy he knew. And this guy knew Gwen. Joe was like, cha-ching.
One
and
for the
Gwen
good
was
guys.
Like, hell yeah, this young, fit guy. So she ditched her husband, David, real quick. David was older, and he was chubby, and Gwen claimed he was not being obedient to God since he was fat. Their engagement video, Joe and Gwen's engagement video, is literally so annoyingly cringy. When you watch it, it's horrendous. Everyone, please look it up.
But one for the good guys. Let's get this money, Joe.
Longtime friends of Joe say that he was never religious, and seeing him on stage in a church was like watching him act on stage. After they got married, Gwen pitched a reality show about their life to multiple networks, and everyone was like, nah, we good. Like, no one wants to watch your life.
Yo, put your hair down, son.
We don't give a shit about you. And because no one wanted to watch her reality show, no networks wanted to pick it up, she decided to hire her own film crew and made a YouTube channel called Life with Gwen and Joe.
Hairs Up Production, baby.
Barf. But suddenly, on Memorial Weekend, Joe, Gwen, and 5 of the church's leaders boarded Gwen and Joe's private plane, heading for a Trump rally in Florida.
Oh, this is recent. I thought this was like 100 years ago.
No, this was Memorial Weekend of 2021.
She basically had Trump's hair, but for a woman.
Yes, she did. They were like twins, but hers was like a lot higher.
Yeah, it was like if Trump could get that hair, he would. But it was basically like Trump's hair before a woman. Like his big old thing.
Cool, very good call.
But with the long, it was like a Trump mullet.
It was, yes. Well, within minutes of the flight, the plane crashed into a lake, and there were no survivors.
Damn.
Hours before this, Gwen had just finished recording her 3rd episode of a 7-episode Bible study series on greed, where she was encouraging church members to give up all of their money. But God has a sense of humor. He really does. Because after investigating the crash, the official cause of the crash?
Hairspray.
Overweight incapacity.
Get the fuck out of here. There's no way.
It really is. That's the official cause of the crash, that the plane was overweight.
It doesn't, listen.
No, God has a sense of humor.
We're in a matrix. We are in a simulation. There's a lot of things going on that are too much of a coincidence.
No, God was up there and he was like, nah, bro, you're done. He was done with it. He was like, all right. This has been all right, funny, haha, you're done.
That's the funny.
And on top of it, I'm making you into a joke.
That's the funny God.
Well, he was really on his comedy that day.
You know what? Because every comedian has a joke or that's great and has a joke that misses.
Well, this one was great.
That motherfucker hit on that one and missed on me.
Today, Remnant Fellowship is still open and active.
Wait a minute.
It's led by
Harry Styles,
Gwen Shamblin's daughter, Elizabeth.
I need a picture.
She looks normal. Although Gwen told everyone, including her church, that she would leave everything to the Remnant Fellowship, she lied. Surprise, surprise. And in her will, she actually left her entire fortune to her 2 children. If you or someone you know go to the Remnant Fellowship in Brentwood, Tennessee, you in a cult, bruh. Get out.
Or
go out and eat some chips. Go out and eat some pizza. Fill up your belly. Eat a cheeseburger. It'll feel nice.
Or take the entire congregation. I've been seeing churches for sale. I'll pick up a church. You guys get a job and you tied to me, and we could start a church where we could eat a little bit. But you guys could give me your money. And we'll all do like 12% body fat. I know she was like 8% body fat.
Shut up, Russ. You're
with 100% hair.
And that is the crazy culty case of Gwen Big Head Shamblin. I named her Gwen Big Head Shamblin.
Helmet. That shit.
That thing was that head is big.
I'm sorry she didn't live because like her head and the hair spread. It reminds me of my Aunt Jonna. Like
she might have. It might have been like a floating device.
It was like Aquanet. They did a lot of Aquanet back then.
Maybe her head was like a floating device. You're surprised she drowned.
No, it was recent though. This was pretty recent.
2021.
I can't believe the cult's still going on.
Oh yeah. So I listened to this podcast as well. I've listened to 3 separate podcasts on this case, as well as watched the documentary. And one of the podcasts I listened to is called Feral Ministries, and it's about this girl. Anyway, she goes to different churches and has different guests. She was somebody who was very like involved in Christianity, but then has kind of been leaving the Christian religion. Anyway, she and her friend decided to go undercover because they wanted to see what this church is like now. And they went and visited the church, and they said that everyone is very on edge there because the documentary came out in 2021 or 2022. So everyone's very on edge when you go there, and they kind of look at you like, why are you here? You're kind of an outsider. And they seem very weird about it.
So they know they're full of shit.
They know that everyone knows about them now. See, that's the thing. Like, this documentary on HBO is scathing. It's bad. It makes this church look terrible. And so these people that are still like super devoted to the church and still members of the church, they know that everyone's looking at them with a microscope because it just came out.
How many members of the church are there? Do you know?
I don't know. There were hundreds.
What?
When
That
you
many?
when you look at her wedding video when she married Joe, it is the cringiest shit I've ever seen.
Suck a porn.
There's
every
like
day,
little
man.
girls in white gowns doing dances, and she has like sparkles that fly in the air, and everyone's cheering, and everyone's like surrounding her and Joe. They literally knew each other for like 2 weeks.
My question is, when an idiot like this that looks like this can start this, why do any of us go to work when we could just be rich? Just tell an idiot to follow me.
Because not everyone is a piece of shit.
No, not everyone is charismatic. Because if most of us were charismatic enough, we'd be like, give me your money.
Well,
And I will let you live good. I won't take it all. I'll give you enough to pay your mortgage. Save enough.
no. All right, that's our case. Check us out on Instagram at Wife of Crime Pod and Facebook at Wife of Crime The Crime Family and wifeofcrime.com for our website.
No, not just the website. I'm wearing the swaggy merch right now that Wine and Crime and Jade made all of our dope-ass merch. Because if you don't know how to dress, that's where you got to go, wifecrime.com.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Happy holiday.
Peace.